I'm just thrilled to be here tonight, thrilled to be in this magazine. Throughout my writing career, I've frequently been asked some variation of the question, sort of, who do I think I am?
Who do you think you are?
Exactly. Do I think I write science fiction? Do I think I write literary fiction? Who do I think I am? And over the years, I guess the answer that I have become most comfortable with is that I think I'm a Western writer. I think that I'm a writer from the West. And I have, I think, an entirely justified chip on my shoulder about the way Western writers are seen in New York. So I could not be more on board with any sort of project that suggests that we too have important things to say. I'm going to read from a little piece from the excerpt that's in the magazine. It is, in fact, the beginning of a novel. I hope it reads enough like a short story to please you, but it is, in fact, the opening of a novel that I've been working on for quite some time. I hope to be finishing around the holidays. I told my husband this year I'm not doing Christmas. It's all up to him. Of course, only to find that he's doing it all wrong. But that's what happens when you delegate. I guess I'll just say that the protagonist in my book is a junior, possibly a senior. She's a little vague herself at UC Davis, and the year is 1996. And there are chimps in the book, although there are no chimps in the excerpt in the magazine, tragically. Autumn came suddenly that year like a door opening. One morning I was bicycling to class when a large flock of Canada geese passed overhead. I couldn't see them or much of anything else, but I heard the jazzy honking above me. There was a tule fog off the fields, and I was wrapped inside it, pedaling through clouds. Tule fogs are not like other fogs, not spotty or drifting, but fixed and substantial. Probably anyone would have felt the risk of moving quickly through an unseen world, but as a child I had a particular penchant for slapstick and mishap, so I took the full thrill from it. I felt polished by the wet air, and maybe just a little migratory myself, just a little wild. This meant I might flirt a bit in the library if I sat next to anyone flirtable, or I might daydream in class. I often felt wild back then. I enjoyed the feeling, but nothing had ever come of it. At lunchtime I grabbed something, probably grilled cheese, let's say it was grilled cheese, in the school cafeteria. I was in the habit of leaving my books on the chair next to me where they could be quickly moved if someone interesting came by, but would discourage the uninterested. At 22, I had the callowest possible definition of interesting, and by the measure of my own calibers was far from interesting myself. A couple was sitting at a table near me, and the woman's voice gradually rose to the point where I was forced to pay attention. "You want some fucking space?" she said. She was wearing a short blue t-shirt and a necklace with a glass pendant of an angelfish. Long dark hair twisted messily down her back. She stood and cleared the table with one motion of her arm. She had beautiful biceps. I remember wishing I had arms like hers. Dishes fell to the floor and shattered. Ketchup and cola spilled and mixed in the breakage. There must have been music in the background, because there's always music in the background now, our whole lives soundtrack, and most of it too ironic to be random. I'm just saying. But honestly, I don't remember. Maybe there was only a sweet silence and the spit of grease on the grill. "How's that?" the woman asked. "Don't tell me to be quiet. I'm just making more space for you." She pushed the table itself over, swung it to one side. "Better?" She raised her voice. "Can everyone please leave the room so my boyfriend has more space? He needs a fucking lot of space." She slammed her chair down onto the pile of ketchup and dishes. More sounds of breakage and a sudden waft of coffee. The rest of us were frozen. Forks halfway to our mouths, spoons dipped in our soups, the way people were found after the eruption of Vesuvius. "Don't do this, baby," the man said once, but she was doing it, and he didn't bother to repeat himself. She moved to another table, empty except for a tray with dirty dishes. There she methodically broke everything that could be broken, threw everything that could be thrown. A salt shaker spun across the floor to my foot. A young man rose from his seat, telling her with a slight stutter to take a chill pill. She threw a spoon that bounced audibly off his forehead. "Don't side with assholes," she said. Her voice was very not chill. He sank back, eyes wide. "I'm okay," he assured the room at large, but he sounded unconvinced. And then surprised, "Holy shit, I've been assaulted." "This is just the shit I can't take," the woman's boyfriend said. He was a big guy with a thin face, loose jeans, and a long coat, nose like a knife. "You go ahead and tear it up, you psycho bitch. Just give me back the key to my place first." She swung another chair, missing my head by maybe 4 feet. I'm being charitable, it seemed like a lot less. Striking my table and upsetting it. I grabbed my glass and plate. My books hit the floor with a loud slap. "Come and get it," she said. It struck me as funny, a cook's invitation over a pile of broken plates, and I laughed once convulsively, a strange duck-like hoot that made everyone turn. And then I stopped laughing because it was no laughing matter, and everyone turned back. Through the glass walls I could see some people on the quad who'd noticed the commotion and were watching. A threesome on their way in for lunch had stopped short at the door. "Don't think I won't." He took a few steps in her direction. She scooped up a handful of ketchup-stained sugar cubes and threw them. "I'm finished," he said. "We're finished. I'm putting your shit in the hallway and I'm changing the locks." He turned and she threw a glass that bounced off his ear. He missed a step, staggered, touched the spot with one hand, checked his fingers for blood. "You owe me for gas," he said without looking back. "Mail it." And he was gone. There was a moment's pause as the door closed. Then the woman turned on the rest of us. "What are you losers looking at?" She picked up one of the chairs, and I couldn't tell if she was going to put it back or throw it. I don't think she'd decided. A campus policeman arrived. He approached me cautiously, hand on his holster. Me, standing above my toppled table and chair, still holding my harmless glass of milk and my plate with the harmless, half-eaten grilled cheese sandwich. "Just put it down, honey," he said, "and sit for a minute." "Put it down where?" "Sit where?" Nothing in my vicinity was upright but me. "We can talk about this. You can tell me what's going on. You're not in any trouble yet." I have to say that when I wrote this, I had a different vision of campus cops at UC Davis than I am. He's being very patient, although completely misguided. "Not her," the woman behind the counter told him. She was a large woman and old, maybe 40, with a beauty mark on her upper lip and eyeliner collecting on the corners of her eyes. "You all act like you own the place," she'd said to me once on another occasion when I sent back a burger for more cooking. "But you just come and go. You don't even think how I'm the one who stays." "The tall one," she told the cop. She pointed, but he was paying no attention, so intent on me and whatever my next move would be. "Calm down," he said again, soft and friendly. "You're not in any trouble yet." He stepped forward, passing right by the woman with the braid and the chair. I saw her eyes behind his shoulder. "Never a policeman when you need one," she said to me. She smiled, and it was a nice smile, big white teeth. "No rest for the wicked." She hoisted the chair over her head. "No soup for you." She launched it away from me and the cop toward the door. It landed on its back. When the policeman turned to look, I dropped my plate and my fork. I honestly didn't mean to. The fingers of my left hand just unclenched all of a sudden. The noise spun the cop back to me. I was still holding my glass, half full of milk. I raised it a little, as if proposing a toast. "Don't do it," he said, a whole lot less friendly now. "I am so not playing around here. Don't you fucking test me." And I threw the glass onto the floor. It broke and splashed milk over one of my shoes and up into my sock. I didn't just let it go. I threw that glass down as hard as I could.